Hello and welcome to yet another beautiful and interesting edition of Camera Lounge, a special series of interviews brought to you specially by Camera Joint, Nigeria's #1 camera store. I'm Kayode Alayande. I'll let you meet today's photographer in just a moment. Don't go away. Lights, camera, action. Just before we turned the cameras on, my very special guest today told me that he's a shy guy, but this guy is a fantastic photographer. He is a beauty and art photographer. Welcome with me, Daniel Kolaru, also known as Daniel Mainstream. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Great.
So, Daniel, who are you?
I'm a behind the scenes guy. I like to make things work. I like to improve people. I'm very driven about making things better and making people better.
Have you always been like that?
Not like I've really always been like that, but growing into the whole creative line and getting to be what I am today, by God's grace, I discovered a part of myself.
Has there been any time in your life, maybe in your childhood, that you were playful, extroverted, and stuff like that?
Not really. Playful, yes. Extroverted, not really. I don't like crowded places. That's why I do few weddings.
So let's talk about your childhood. What kind of childhood did you have?
My childhood was a little bit, I wouldn't say perfect. Thank God for good parents. They didn't have everything, but what they had, they made sure they used it to get the best for me and my brother.
How did you begin to find yourself, discover yourself as artistic?
Okay, so growing up, I would draw, and people would see me and like, I want your son to draw me and all that, and I'll pick my paper and try to do some nice drawings and all that. Then after some time, I finished school and I was a little bit free. I started learning graphics. Then I went for one small training, like a 6-month training in Kolaru. So I would get those pictures of people, then do a cartoon trace on it, then add colors and all that. I did that a lot in my early days as a graphic designer. I had no plans of designing flyers or whatever. I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to enjoy myself, basically. Then one day, a lady contacted me and sent me a drawing of a logo and asked me, can you do this? I'm not one to say no, I can't. I went on YouTube straight up how to.
Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, and that was how it started.
So how did that all snowball into photography?
Yeah, the day I actually woke up into photography was the day that was in December, early December 2018. So I was just in my house, normal now. Then a guy called me, one of my guys called me and he was like, he's going to this lady's house. That lady was actually, she's also my friend. She's my major makeup artist right now. And he said he was going to do a shoot there and all that. I want to stop by. I was like, okay, no problem. So
it was more like a modeling shoot. Or
yeah, the modeling shoot. So I went there. Then he was using the 7D Mark II. 7D Mark II. And you know the 7D Mark II has, I think, an electronic viewfinder. And you look in there, you're going to see how beautiful everything is going to be. So I went there, then he started shooting. Then I was like, let me try. So the moment I picked the camera and I just looked into the viewfinder and I said, wow. I looked, it was using a 50mm 1.8 prime lens and it was shooting at between 1.8, 2.2. I didn't know what that was at the time. Trust me. I didn't know jack, nothing. So I put and I saw how blurry wow, this looks really good.
But like you saw a ghost.
Yeah,
Like,
thank you. I was like,
happening
wow,
here?
this is something really nice. Then I was like, okay. I didn't know how to set a camera or anything, so I was just giving the camera, help me set it. I got some shots for myself. Then I got home. Okay, what to do with this picture? I went online, YouTube, how to retouch pictures. Because they said they call it retouching. Then I didn't even know what it was called. So they said they call it retouching. Then I started learning how to retouch images. And I started watching like self-taught like that, all true. And then I did not have a camera. So what I would do is that I'll contact a friend that has, I'll borrow his camera, shoot the same makeup artist, friend him with a shoot. The thing is this, you don't have to have everything before you start something.
Say it again.
You don't have to have everything before
Yeah,
you start
because,
something. Yeah, because if you want to wait, you would probably never make a move. So I would take 5K, pay for the studio, also rent the studio camera. And I was, then the studio I was in, they were using 5D Mark IV.
Wow.
So an entry photographer using, I would rent the 5D Mark IV. It was pretty expensive for me to rent. So I rented like twice and I stopped. I just removed my hand and started borrowing my guys. Yeah, I removed my hand. Yeah, because my guys were using crop sensor cameras and I didn't even really know what the crop sensor camera was at the time.
Wow. That's at 20.
That was early 20, yeah. December to January, that's like yesterday.
That's roughly 4 years ago.
Yeah. Graphics was actually doing fairly okay and God really helped me because I was able to like get a couple of jobs, gathered the money, and I had about 100 and something K. And I was around 2019, April thereabout. So all through from January to down till April, I was renting. Then I saw a 7D, Canon 7D, the normal Mark 1, the normal 7D, and I bought it. I did not have a lens. But I just bought the body.
More like you want to buy a car.
Yeah.
Don't buy tires.
Yes. I just bought the camera.
I mean, but the lens, the camera itself is even more than.
Yes. So I bought the camera 130K thereabout at one point. I can't remember. So I bought the camera. Then I was like, okay, at least I have a camera now. So what I did immediately after, before buying the camera, was that I did a research on the 7D because I'm very inquisitive. So I went on YouTube and I checked Canon 7D. Look at other photographers that have used it, the results they got, and stuff like that. So that was helping my knowledge level, like making me understand.
It's important for us to say this. You were self-driven.
Yeah.
You were developing yourself.
Yeah.
You were asking questions.
Yeah.
You were seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's how you grew.
Yes.
And
basically.
these things you were doing in the area of your interest.
Yes.
Great.
So I wanted to do something differently, than what I was doing before. And people were saying it on my WhatsApp status, on my then Instagram personal page. They would see it and they would be like, wow, this is good. Because now, not because that was the best they had seen, but that was they were seeing something different that I was doing, you understand, compared to what I would do before.
But let me ask you, you say something about you weren't doing for the money, which is honorable.
Yeah.
Now, is it wrong to say, look, I'm going to do photography, I want to make money?
No, I don't feel it's wrong.
Okay.
Because in the end, even for me, that's the end game.
It has now become the end game.
Yeah, like it's the end game for me. It was more or less like I need to be ready before I put myself out there.
Okay, yes, I see the sequence now.
That so I don't under-deliver.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it was more or less like, let me develop, So even such that if someone texted me, oh, would you? I would be like, no, I don't want your money. Just let me be.
Where did that come from? Because one would have thought that, okay, as I'm growing, I can make money. Why were you refusing me?
Now, at that point, I knew I wasn't ready. I was 100% sure that I wasn't ready to start taking jobs. Because jobs will come with demands. You get something. And at the time, I had a little bit of a backup, and I did not really have a community of photographers that were influencing me either positively or negatively.
Do you think that stunted your growth? Or do you feel your growth in the photography could have been much faster if you had a community of photographers?
I wouldn't say faster. I would probably even say it might have perhaps marred my progress, like personally. I would have not been probably driven by excellence. I would have been driven by maybe what I'm getting. You know the way guys can be now.
Yeah.
And guy, you just a shoot collabs. When you go shoot work, and me, I'll now think about it. That's true. This guy got a job of 40K yesterday. I've never made $1 from this craft.
Okay,
You know what, guys?
so you didn't want that to be cloud your.
Yeah.
We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking more with Daniel of Mainstream Visuals. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Camera Lounge, and I still have with me Daniel Kolaru of Mainstream Visuals. When eventually did you get your first paid job?
That was, I think, 2019, July, August, thereabout. So I got a job from a brand, and trust me, a difficult one at such, because it had to do with optical glasses. Like, that was the first series of many that I did for them. I think the job made me about 100K. I did not really know there was so much money in photography.
So you're telling me now
Yeah.
that photography is very lucrative.
Yes, very, very.
Well, how come we have millions of photographers
Yeah.
who are not doing it?
The thing is this, it depends on how you define not doing well. There are various ways you can make money in photography. You'll say event pays the most. Some people will say portrait, corporate portraits pays the most. Some people will tell you it's this, it's that, and all that. If you have a style, stick with it. And you get what I'm saying? It will be productive on the long run. You understand what I'm saying? Don't quit a particular style because you feel it's not paying you. How are you sure people are not watching you? Once you're convinced that this is my style, it's what I can effortlessly carry out.
So can you be making good images and not have money and still look at it as doing well?
Depends on what impact you're making by creating those images.
What if you're making impact and money is not coming?
And money isn't coming. I think that would be...
Is that possible?
It's possible. That will be a problem of the person in that position.
What is the why of photography for you?
Impact. Legacy. My imprint on people.
I wanted to quickly talk about this. Have you ever had conflict with a client? And how did you resolve it?
Contracts, very important. Every job should have a contract. Every photographer should have a contract for each section of their work. If you're doing portrait, weddings, and all that. So let the contract be in your invoice, terms and conditions that protect you and also protect your
That
client.
are fair to the client.
You know, that are very fair to the client as well. Of course, they will say customers are always right, but it's not always the case every time. You should never end a transaction with a client with fight or with a quarrel. But hear them out. It doesn't make you weak.
Yeah.
You understand? It only shows that you're wiser and you have a proper way of managing people.
What's a normal day like for Daniel?
I don't work on desk before I shoot. If my shoot is in the morning, you get what I'm saying? I like to clear out my field work before I go into post. So if I have pictures to edit on a particular day, I can buy some more time from the client. Are you getting? Set up well, set up the studio perfectly well, and prepare for the client. So I process my images immediately after I shoot. Like once I shoot, I don't retouch immediately, but I process those images, give them a color grading feel before I go to bed that day. And know that when I am coming next day, I just come to do skin work editing and I finish up the image.
Why do you do that?
I do that because it helps me work faster.
Yeah, I asked this question for photographers who have so many things that they need to do.
It's very important as a photographer to have a team. That's why, for me, I train people. So some of these people I train actually work with me as well. Split the work. I create the templates for work. This is the way it has to look when it's done. But there are some projects personally that, based on client's request, you know that it's you they want on this project.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. We'll take another break now. When we come back, we'll see what is in Daniel's bag. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. You're still watching Camera Lounge, brought to you by Camera Joint. And we've been speaking with Daniel Kolaru, the creative director at Mainstream Visuals. Let's look at some of the pictures that you've sent in to us. I love this.
This happens to be one of my favorite images when it comes to like headshots and beauty, or something that looks like a macro beauty look. this image was a planned shoot with this celebrity Tolani Bad at the time. So
Yeah.
it was my full team that worked on this. This was the one she personally I liked her that she wanted to shoot
Yeah,
at the time.
it's a stunning picture.
Yes. So I put her in frame, then I captured the image. I think this was one light setup here with a curvy reflector.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
So-
two light setup actually, because there was a air light on this, air light from behind my background.
Yeah, I can see one dropping.
Yeah,
from
there's a drop light
just
on
right
the,
over her.
Yeah, yeah. So if you had like a full frame
across
image,
the temple.
Yeah, yeah. So butterfly light setup and the cover reflector, which did the whole shiny work on the image. And I retouched this plainly frequency separation, all true frequency separation.
The skin tone
Yeah.
is.
Then the
awesome.
skin tone
It's
was like one of
impeccable.
my presets because I have a store of presets that I sell to photographers and all that. So that was what I used for that.
This next one too is awesome.
This
Yeah.
happens to be like one of my most challenging photo shoots that I did because when you're working with glasses, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You have to be very mindful of light, how light is dropping and all that. So I just had to like find a way. The reason why I used two lights was because I knew this shot, for instance, I was going to get it head on, right?
Yeah. What lens was this?
85.
The Tolani badge own.
85 as well.
85 as well.
85,
Yeah.
At the time, it was my favorite lens at that time. So for this, I used two lights side by side, a little bit at a distance, so it won't get into the frames. Then I used a reflector, the reflector was like very low. I just needed a distinct of it on the picture, you understand? Then I worked in camera to get the shot because when you're working with frames, you want to avoid a lot of things entering the frame.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So people can really see through
So
what
the
is being
person's
sold.
eye.
So this is like one of the brand shoots I did then as well.
All right,
Apparently,
great.
this was the same brand that gave me the job, that first major job. Then.
Ah,
so they
I
retained me over
Over
time and all that.
for
So,
doing an excellent
yeah,
job.
every year, like
All right, so let's see what's in Daniel's bag.
wow. So where do I start from?
Yeah, I mean, so you carry this with you all the time.
Yeah, these equipment go with me all the time. Yeah, I shoot in church, by the way. So,
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I shoot in church. I shoot in church, by the way. So, should I start from the body or?
Yes.
So this is my camera body. It's a
All right.
Canon mirrorless EOS R, the RP version. So that's what I use. What I do basically is portraits, you understand, and I do a little bit of events and all that. So this is not totally perfect because it's not overly perfect for events because this is like one of the R and the RP are not designated event cameras per se because they are like best, totally really crazy for portraits. Because the R5, the R6 are very fast, are faster than this, which is much more preferable for events, you understand? So I got this because number one, it's lightweight, you understand? It's very,
Never held one in my hand.
yeah, it's lightweight.
Really, and study.
Yeah, and it's a mirrorless camera, so
Yeah.
makes focusing for me very, very easy and makes my work quite easy.
So if a photographer doesn't have the budget for this,
Yeah.
what is the next best you would recommend for that photographer?
So the Canon 6D is a very good camera. It's an entry-level full frame from Canon, and I used that camera for a very long time. I passed on the camera.
Great.
So when I got this camera, I still had the camera. So I
Alright.
passed it on, and it's a very decent camera.
So must be a 60 for you.
Yes, 60.
All right.
yeah.
So what else do we have in your bag?
So where should I start from? So I don't have so many lenses anyway. I only have the lenses that I need. I used to buy a whole lot before, but you might trying to not having to need so much. So the next one I have here is my Sigma 105 2.8 lens. It's a macro lens. So I use this for beauty shoots a whole lot.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's a 105mm lens, 2.8 f2.8 macro lens. So I use that a lot for beauty because when you're doing beauty,
Yeah, you need to
macro
get
lens,
in
yeah,
there.
yes,
you
we
know,
need to get in
see,
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so-
details.
So that's what I use, and it's a very, very, very sharp lens.
Sigma.
It's very, yeah,
Sigma on
yeah.
Canon.
Yeah, Sigma on Canon. With
Why
the
do you
uptime.
do that?
I prefer Sigma because number one, Sigma lenses are very affordable. Now Canon lenses are good. No, Canon lenses are the best. Let me put it that
Let's
way.
leave it. Let's leave it at that.
Well, Sigma does the job for me, so
Oh, great.
so that's
All right,
that's
good.
that's it.
So what else do you have in
So
there?
I have this. This is a Tamron lens. It's a 70 to 200 mm lens. I use this lifestyle. I use this for beauty, sometimes portraits. It's a very crazy portrait lens. And the fact that I can zoom all the way from 70 to 200 puts me at a very commanding position. As a matter of fact, I use this lens most frequently nowadays. This is a 24 to 70 mm lens,
F what?
f2.8. I think this is also Sigma HSM as well. 24 to this. I use this whenever I have events, and I put this in my bag because some places you go to, you don't get to have enough space. And this is also very good for fashion as well. So because I'm a teacher, I educate people, I tend to want to like give people different perspectives to how to carry out shoots. You understand what I'm saying? So there are some shoots I might decide to give them a view from this point of view, give them a view from this point of view,
I see.
give them from this point of view. So you see what I personally can get, the result I can achieve from different views. The last one I have here is, this is an 85 mm lens, f1.4 Sigma lens. All these lenses are 2.8 lenses, but this gives me that feel of the fact that it can let in more light at f1.4, and I can achieve great depth.
Wow, Daniel, this is super impressive. How many lenses you got in there altogether? 4?
Yeah, 4 major lenses.
Wow, great. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time. And that will be a wrap on the show for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Thecameralounge. Bye now. Lights, camera, action.